So I'm gonna make this video about black mold, and if you are a Destiny fan of mine, you don't have to watch this video. It's only gonna be a one-time video, one-time post about this. But I'm gonna tell you my experience. I could really talk about this video for a long time, but I'm not going to. I'm gonna break it down as quick as I possibly can. But if you are suffering that you may think that from depression or anxiety, it could be something totally different. And in my case, I'll give you my experience. I moved into an old home about 3 years ago, and I moved into it in very good shape, 200 pounds, solid rock. And after me being there for a while, I noticed here are the first symptoms that I had. I had nasal pressure, and then I started to get headaches, and then it just carried on, and it started to get brain zaps at its worst. I had 6 seizures from just breathing in mold. I had my vision. I was losing my vision. I got squiggly lines all over my eyes. I started to get pins and needles where my hands were numb, my legs were numb, my vision, my hearing, I was popping of my ears. And so I started going to doctors. I went through Stanford. Long story short, I went to about every single doctor there is. They put me on antidepressants. I was desperate. I didn't know what to do. And nothing seemed to help. So I eventually moved out of that place, and I noticed I started to get better. I rented hotels for 2 months, and I noticed I started to very slowly progress. And if you're out there and you're struggling from maybe some of these symptoms, it could be a black mold thing. Apparently, so 25% of the population have a gene called the HLA gene, and this gene can activate CIRS, which is chronic inflammation response syndrome. So if you have, for me, it can be, how that gene can be triggered is from a head injury, teeth, really bad teeth, coming off antidepressant and having a brain zap. It's a lot of head trauma. That's what it was for me. And that triggered this gene, which only 25% of the population, accordingly to some doctors that I had to research off of YouTube, have this gene. So you can live in a moldy environment and not have any problems at all. You might have some respiratory problems, which I had terrible respiratory problems, but they didn't come to after a while. So if you are struggling with depression, anxiety, what I recommend, because you can go to every shrink under the sun, neurologist. I went to neurologist, and they said, it's a chemical imbalance, you're depressed and all this shit. And I believed it for a little bit, but it wasn't the case. It was breathing black mold in. And the detox, I finally moved in this really nice environment after 3 years of fucking torture, getting on 4 or 5 antidepressants, trying everything, trying to diet, moving. I even moved back to my hometown in my dad's place, who it has a really nice place, right? You wouldn't think black mold is in there, but he had a water line leak in his laundry room, and black mold built up there, but you'd never see it. You can kind of smell it. So I was getting sick in there, which I thought was a healthy environment, and you can get air tests to test for mold. What I recommend is going to naturopathic and having them test you for specifically ochratoxin A. It's mycotoxin, and that is what I came up with, extremely high levels. And so there is a detox process. Number one, you have to get in a clean environment. Have to, whatever it takes. You have to leave. I had to leave all my possessions behind. Basically, I had to wash the dogs like crazy and move back into my hometown. And that place was also had black mold in it, but you would have never thought it. We eventually seen a water line leak in the laundry room and tore apart the laundry room, and it was covered in black mold. So I was like, oh shit, no wonder why I'm not getting better. Number one, you have to go into a new place. But some of the first symptoms you might see are some nasal pressure, and then like headaches. And then I can't remember the third. I think my vision started to get really squiggly. The hearing, sensitive to sound, sensitive to light, and So the number one thing I would recommend is going to a naturopathic and testing you for black mold. And it's just crazy because all the doctors, every shrink I've seen, they would always try to pin it on something else. It's just Western medicine is not that educated in something like this, and you don't have to see black mold on the wall. You know, it can hide in just the most crazy spots. But I'm just making this video to anybody suffering from depression, anxiety, other illnesses, that to check it off the box, really go and get tested for something like mold. Seriously, I could talk about this subject for like 2 hours, but I just want to make a quick video. I hope anybody out there that is struggling, that, you know, there is a light at the end of the tunnel to get better, and you can do it. Diet is so huge. Anti-inflammatory foods, the right diet, food will heal you. That's a whole nother subject for a whole nother day, but which I'll probably never talk about unless this video does amazing. But food is so crucial into a recovery. Number one, clean environment. Number two, get your food on check. Move around, get going. I remember I had so many doctors that were like, oh, you're depressed, and it's just winter, seasonal blues and all this shit. And I was like, it's not. It's not. Like, I know my mind. It's not some overthinking kind of crap, but they make you think that. They make you think crazy. So you're desperate for straws, and you'll try anything under the sun. That's my video. That's my advice. I hope this helps somebody out there. I hope if you're suffering that you will maybe look at this outlet to try to go get tested for black mold. It is a lot more serious, I think, than what not many people know about it or are educated it. But when you go into the naturopathic field, there's a lot of people out there that know exactly what you're going through and can help you. So that's my video, guys. See you later.